is 95% plans. Mr. Tony is going to drop off paper copies tomorrow at East Pike.
It's going to meet me at the Royal Building, so I'll have them and then I will bring them back to East Pike.
All right. So then I'd sent an email to the board and others about scheduling a meeting to go over comments on those 95% plans. I'd like to try to do that this week. Thursday, how's Thursday look for anybody?
I'm open all I'm totally free. So
I'm up there, but I'll try to make it back in time.
Yeah, and I don't
just leave
know,
early.
do we want to try to have it
My sister's camp.
during the day or in the evening?
Well, let me
Wait
know
for
how you want to do it.
certain
I'll have to cancel hers then if I do it during the day, but I'll make it one way or the other.
Right.
I'll make it work. So you just schedule what you need and I'll make it work.
I have to be in Latrobe at 6:30 Thursday evening. You have it during the day, but that makes it bad for people that work.
Right,
So,
right. Well, how about,
but I don't have to be there.
well, you should be. As many people as possible is good. Walter's coming back. He should probably be there. He's coming back this weekend. So why don't we try, next week's not good for me, other than, because Monday evening we have 2 meetings already. Monday evening's not gonna work. And Tuesday, Wednesday, well, except for Walter, Tom and Julia and Dr. Rigg and Jim. Well, Jim might be able to make it.
What do we have next Monday? What committees on next Monday? Maybe we could move them and let us down.
Oh, then finance get ready for the board.
oh, that's gonna be an easy one. Sorry.
Maybe if we start
You
at
can have
5
it.
Monday night.
Terry, just have it Thursday without me. If everybody else can come, there's just no sense.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
Thursday's my surgery day, so I won't be available.
Okay.
then we shouldn't, yeah.
Well, why don't we do Monday at 4?
Okay.
Next Monday at 4.
Sounds
The
good.
26th.
Yes.
Can we send the board invite, sir?
Yes, please, so I don't have to.
All right, next thing is the asbestos update at Eisenhower. Do we have anything there?
It is out to bid right now. We have a mandatory pre-bid meeting walkthrough of Eisenhower scheduled for this Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then bids are due the following Thursday, June 29th by 1 o'clock. And we should have something for the board to approve at the July meeting, so.
And when are they planning on getting in there and doing it? What are we telling them time-wise?
We're telling them that it's available as soon as they can, so it's,
Have they given you an idea about their schedule or they,
we haven't had any contractor yet.
okay, yeah, okay.
Do we have anything in
That's-
the bid proposal though for a deadline?
We have, top of my head, I do not know what we put in there. I believe by like September or something it had to, so kind of they should be finishing up because there is some transition that they're gonna have to come back and do the windows when the new windows are ready to go in, so. Because they
Yeah.
couldn't coordinate taking that out.
Yeah, and that won't be for
Yeah.
another year, so.
So whoever the winning bid knows that there will be a second time they have to come back and coordinate that.
So they can do tile under the carpet and the caulking around the doors,
Yeah, they can
the
do
interior doors.
anything interior will get done first, and then the windows will get done as coordinated with the general contractor.
That's the only place there's asbestos, right? Door caulking and
I
floors.
thought behind the boards, so I'm like,
That was
no,
all clear.
that's clear.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if we bid the project the end of July, there's gonna be processing of contracts and all that stuff, so the main contractors won't be getting started till whenever, mid-August, late August, till they mobilize and stuff, so hopefully it meshes. Anything else on that?
No, we just, we missed letter A there. Letter A, the utility discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's just something I really wanted to get the committee's feedback is the architects reached out and they're getting ready to put the final bid documents together, and they wanted to know whether we wanted to pay for the utilities that were on site or whether we wanted to include that as part of the contractor's responsibilities to get temporary power put in, take over the water bill, take over the gas bill, those type of things during construction.
Is that normal? It sounds like a good idea.
That sounds like it's gonna add a lot of cost to getting temporary power in.
Well, they gotta put temporary power in anyway. Yeah, that's normal,
Okay,
but I didn't know turning
And
the
then-
utility things over, but
Sounds like what they do is they just call the water company and say, okay, from this point
Right.
forward, we pay the water bill,
Right.
we pay the sewage bill,
gas
those
bill.
type of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it puts some onus on them to not be letting things go, you know.
we won't have a reconnection charge when it transfers back to us, because they're real good at charging.
Tom, is it common with building construction to put the utilities onto the contractor during construction?
It's common to do that, but at the same time, we end up paying them anyway. The utilities are probably in our name, so there'd be a cost to move them back and forth. So I would,
But this is gonna be at least a year,
yeah, but we're
maybe
going,
2 years.
And it's gonna be contractors who don't care if it's in our name, like renters who don't care if the utilities are not in their name. I
True.
mean,
Yeah, yeah, so you-
water will be
so-
left running,
yeah, you have all
heat
that,
jacked up to
Yes,
whatever.
yeah. I see a benefit to it,
which,
and the fees to putting that onto the contractor.
yeah, well,
Can we specify that they pay the transfer fees?
no, we just specified they put in their name and they pay the utilities. The general contractor pays the utilities.
And then when we transfer it back to us, we have to pay the transfer fee.
Yeah, but that's gonna be less than 12 months worth of utilities.
Right,
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm not sure that actually makes any difference.
yeah.
You
All
know,
right,
you know, they,
we good with that?
Which way do you guys want to go?
Put it on the contract.
Put it on the contract?
yeah, I think it's a coin flip decision.
Yeah, we're paying either way, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geese problem update.
They've moved it to Tijuana.
I wish. Day after I reported to you the last time I was at Buildings and Grounds, we'd only had them in for like 4 days. So I sent that next day, because we talked about cleaning the sidewalk off, so I sent one of our guys over, clean that sidewalk. He pulled in, the neighbor came over. That evening, at 2 AM, somebody stole one.
That we hadn't planned on.
Can't make this up. So we have one. And we redirected the camera so we could actually observe it without being over there. There are times where it startles them and they run. There are times where they walk right past it and it doesn't faze them at all. So
Is it
I don't
on,
really have.
is it on constantly, or was it set to,
No,
go on
it
for a
only
while and then
lasts
go
so long,
off?
it shuts down.
so are they walking past it when it's
It's
idle?
triggered by motion.
Okay,
So when the geese show up, it's supposed to flip.
okay, all right.
And the guys that stole the one didn't get the motion thing, so it doesn't work for them anyways.
Was it out back or in the
Were
front?
the cameras
It's
pointed?
along Line Street.
Yeah.
Down on the far end, that sidewalk that comes straight out.
There were two there.
That's where most of our activity comes from,
Yeah.
walking up.
Yeah, from the pond.
Sometimes it does startle them, yes. Sometimes,
What if we got one that flopped and flipped all the time?
Then
Maybe-
somebody would steal it too.
No,
They would probably get used to it. It's just like, anything else, they just get used to it after a while.
I think part of it is you probably have to continually keep moving.
Well, we gotta do something.
Well, but, I mean, this has the best chance of working. And especially when we get the playground in, it'll be behind the fence. So they become a little more difficult to steal.
Can
Did you
we,
catch anybody on camera? You said you turned the camera so you can observe it.
That
Did
was
you?
after it was stolen.
But we didn't have a camera pointing in that direction, Kent.
Unfortunately, not.
can we move it behind the fence now and then can you put it on manual that it runs all the time? Override the sensor?
I'd have to read the literature. I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
We could certainly get one of the advertising ones. You know, ones that with a taller man and put it on a photo cell and just let it off at night.
Right.
I thought one of those guys laying on its side and shooting across the yard at the geese would be really useful. Maybe bump them a couple
Shoot fireworks off
But
everywhere.
you're probably right, moving them around so they don't get used to it.
Jenny, are we still having issues in the back, even with the gates all closed all the time?
That was one of the things that we did find when we gated that. And then of course, we got the Mossbergs back there. When that was all closed in, they did not fly in there. So we really didn't have a big issue back on the playground after we
But
gated that.
But there also wasn't much grass back there. Right.
But now that's open on the other end. They come around the building, they can come in there. You don't have fence there.
There, do you agree there wasn't much of a problem when it was all fenced in?
I would agree, when it was fenced in, it was not, the playground does not have a lot of geese
Yeah.
and things on it, so
Right.
that was mainly on the sidewalks that we would encounter that, and in that small little parking lot where, you know, the 5 spots there behind the school, that's where you would find the most waste and that kind of stuff from the geese. And sometimes in the front, leading up to the building, they would come up in that grass area up in front there, but the offices would be there, and it would be designed, so that might not be an issue either.
Yeah.
In the big grassy area on Wine Street will be a parking lot.
Yeah,
Right, so
the area we're working with that now, that's what we parking
Right.
most part.
so it might be better with more blacktop.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but
I think we keep going down this path.
right.
It's inexpensive. It seems to be working. Some, okay, and a combination of, there's actually going to be no grass in the park, in the playground when we get done with this. So they seem not to come and hang out on the blacktop. So we may be okay.
All right.
So we're gonna buy another one to replace?
Should.
And is there some way to anchor them, lock them down, chain them down, you know, make it a little bit more difficult to steal?
Well, if you want to move them, that's gonna be a once.
Unlock the chain? I don't know. Is there anything?
They didn't come provided with anything, they don't recommend it.
I see. Okay.
I'd say,
Is this a-
The camera, is the camera on them now though? I mean, so if someone steals them now, we should be able to see who it is.
Why don't we publicize that we have the controller, and if somebody wants the controller for that goose thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Do we
Yeah,
have-
some people that will answer and go, oh yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Do we have lights that light up, motion detector lights? Somebody goes in there, somebody physically walks in there to steal it and all the lights come on? Do we have any, I don't know, do we have,
It's on Wine,
Any
it's
security
on Wine
lights
Street.
there?
Is there any photos, is there any motion detectors on Wine Street?
Buy a little solar ones, you know, charge up by the sun, and then if somebody walks past them, they floodlights will turn on. They're relatively,
have to put them up on a building though so they don't steal them?
yeah.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
I'd say we should purchase one more, see if there's one that can run.
One a little
More.
taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised how short they were.
Because by the time the geese gets there, the sensor, you know, now, okay, now the sensor goes off, then it's pooped already, now it's leaving.
It
Scare the
poop
crap out of it.
It scares the it scares the poop out of it.
Yeah.
since we have the operational component for this thing, can we buy another little man and use that component with another
That came
Man.
with it, it was just one price.
I know, but can't,
I can check with them to see
Could
if
we-
they sell
'cause
that.
I don't remember what the prices were for these goose cops or whatever they're called, but you can buy those little,
$349.
well, you can buy those little inflatable men all over the place. Can we buy a generic one and use that,
What they steal, just the man?
just the
The
man?
whole unit, except the only thing that didn't cost was the infrared.
Okay, so they sold the fan in the box too.
Okay.
All right,
That's the money for it.
moving on.
Okay.
Discussions on the district's plan of bids come in over budget. I'm guessing this is going to be on audit and finance again next week, maybe, or, because we talked about it at the previous meeting, then we talked about it audit and finance, I think, too.
Do we have any suggestions from the architects yet?
He
Yeah,
had
they
sent
us-
some.
They sent us and they were ridiculous.
believe he had sent 4 or 5 of them.
Plus
Long
two,
time ago.
one of the
Yeah,
things
I
I've
think
written
that-
down too, we need a revised estimate for this since we have 95%.
Eliminate the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I think the
Tony,
building is wrong. The price
Is it?
already
On the
carried
meeting
out.
right now.
Don't use it 24. There's nothing else.
Tony.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Good. Do you have a revised estimate with the 95% submission?
I didn't submit it to you, but I'll get you one quickly.
Okay.
I don't see a lot of change in where we've been, but you know, it'll be what it is. I have, if you look through the technical manual, the specifications, there's probably a list of 7 or 8 alternates at this point that we've recommended for use, some of which are in the mechanical equipment side and some of which are architectural. There's really not much we can do electrically or civil, but mechanical equipment, there's some alternatives there, and architecturally I've sent you some as well.
Tony, on the playground, I would think there'd be some substantial cost savings on not doing the grass or the artificial surfaces, those kind of things.
Actually, Tom, I really cannot hear you very well.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm turning toward the screen to talk to you. On the playground, on the civil side, I think there'd be some substantial savings on some of the enhancements of the playground
Again,
area.
you've broken up.
Especially on the artificial
So-
surface.
Well, what I will tell you about the artificial surface, and we backed away from making a change there, is because it has a dramatic impact on stormwater if we eliminate that. So I don't see a savings by changing that ground surface, because it's going to, if we do that, we're going to have to recalculate the stormwater based on a different surface there. And the information I got from our sewer department was it'll probably get worse. Now, I did think that there was, I do think there's savings in not doing that pavilion and some other things there, but I don't think, I mean, we could run the numbers and see, but the information I got was changing that surface is probably not a good idea at this point. Based on the
The
stormwater
infiltration
calculations.
rate, the infiltration rate is higher with that artificial surface than with natural grass.
I actually don't know that answer, but it seems reasonable to me to think that's true.
Again, that is, I guess, it's worth asking your civil the question.
Yeah, and I did, and he said, yeah, that's, you know, we're going to end up having to do more stormwater if we get rid of that surface. I just don't know what the number actually is.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll ask again and see if I can get a number, but
Yeah. Tom, you just looked at the alternates that he was
Yeah, I mean,
suggesting.
the alternates are reasonable discussion points, but it's changing out terrazzo for vinyl. It's changing out cabinets along the wall for nothing. So
There's not much else more to cut though. I mean,
I don't think we started off with a lush
No,
design here.
no. We worked really hard to make everything as efficient and streamlined and use every inch and every penny wisely.
So anything else on the estimate and the budget? We'll just wait for it.
Well, I guess, you know, there is going to be the question about what the district wants to do. You know, it'd be helpful for me to have some level of understanding of what the plan might be, you know, regarding where the bids come in. I know there's still concern about it. I'm had some recent success on some smaller projects, so I'm you know, I'm as confident as I can be in the numbers that we've given you, but there's no promises ever. So what is it that the district, you know, wants to do with how far over budget is a problem?
That I don't know. And there's not enough of us here tonight to really,
No, we don't know. You know, we don't know how far over budget we are until you tell us. Are we over budget? Or are we okay?
Well, my current estimate shows that we're still okay. But again, as I've talked with others, there's, you know, we don't know.
we won't know
really
until it's bid. Yeah,
on bid
we won't
day.
know until it's bid. And then the board then is going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
some of these things could be put into the bid as deducts.
Well,
Well, they
that's
are.
what he said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
if you look
yeah,
at these,
And
they're
we
already
can
written
choose-
in.
Yeah, and we can choose after the bids are in to exercise that or not.
Right.
I
Okay.
would say that it's my general philosophy to try to get the base bid as competitive as possible. In other words, don't do any add alternates, do all deducts.
Yeah. Okay.
The one of the difficulties with a public bid though is that when we deduct, we have to take the first deduct. We have difficulty taking the first deduct, the third deduct, the fifth deduct.
Why?
If you end up changing the low bid contractor, you go from contractor A to contractor C because the deducts you pick up, you open yourself up to a lawsuit.
Right.
So what I would recommend you do is look very carefully at those alternates and put them in the order in which you desire them.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I can't make that decision for you, so
But you can, Tony. I mean, we're good with that.
no, I'm not good with it.
So we're going to do
I mean,
that.
I would tell you that the first one for me would be the playground, and the second one would be the terrazzo. But after that, I'd sort of get lost in it. So that's
So we should do that at our next building grounds meeting then, have those listed.
That'd be good. We put them in order for the board.
well. Let me say this: we are still working very diligently toward the July 15th date, and I'm hoping to achieve that.
We could do it at next week's audit and finance unless there's a heavy agenda.
We have the budget to discuss.
That's 10
So
days.
that's,
We've discussed it several times.
that's not, it's not gonna take that long.
Yeah, that shouldn't take that
I
long.
mean, I can add it if we get to it.
Yeah, and if not, then
That makes sense.
Yeah, put out the list that Tony has out of the spec book. That he already has, so put that out to the board so we're coming with refreshed.
It should be in the section, the specification section called alternates. They should already be listed there.
Okay.
okay, thanks, Tony. Next thing is the construction schedule. Do you need anything from the board on that?
Well, as I communicated with Jared, you know, what is your out to bid date that you know, we have a completion date. So what actual advertisement date and when you're going to advertise it and what the bid receipt date is, and then a notice to proceed. I can send Jared a list of the things that we've asked for. But yeah, there are some dates that you guys should really just say, these are the dates.
And refresh my memory.
It has to be advertised and it has to, you know, follow the rules.
Refresh my memory. What's the contract completion date?
I don't know what your construction contract completion date is. I only know that you were expecting us to deliver a ready for bid set by the end of July, and I just told you I'm still trying to get it done by the 15th. So, you know, what bid release date do you really want to put in the advertisement? And then we have to write you the advertisement, and somebody on your end has to get it advertised.
Okay, slow down.
We're talking two different things, Tony.
You're talking about completion.
I'm talking about construction completion date.
And I tried to have that conversation, 6 weeks ago or thereabouts, and was pretty much told, just get the job done. We'll worry about the construction schedule.
Okay, so here's my proposal, Tony, is that we advertise for bids starting on the 7th of July or thereabouts, or the 1st of July. We
August.
advertise for bids.
August.
No, we advertise, stay
They're
with
not
me
gonna
here.
be done until July 15th.
We don't, part of the advertising for bids is the drawings will be available July
Oh, I got you.
15th.
Okay.
Okay, that's when the drawings are out. Tony, how long does this thing need to be bid for?
We would recommend 4 weeks.
Okay, so, but the advantage of advertising it early is that the people can clear their schedule to do their estimating. So it doesn't drop on them out of the blue. So we advertise early, we take their drawings, we're not gonna change any of their drawings at 100%. Okay, if you're gonna change the drawings, you gotta do it today on the 95%ers. Okay, you're not gonna go into the drawings and change things. Okay, so we advertise for bid, the drawings are available on the 15th, and the bids are due August 15th. And then we have about 2 weeks to process the bids and to see Tony's recommendations, your recommendations, and see if we can pull this thing off. And then sign a contract. What'd they be, Tony, about August, July, August, September
Well,
1st?
Yeah, I'm following you, Tom, and I was just going to let you get through it, just remembering that there was a amendment to the settlement that pushes that date back to the 28th. What I'm saying is I'm hoping to get it done before the 28th. I
Okay.
can't promise you that right now.
Okay, well, as early as you can get the drawings to us. If it's a 15th grade, it's a 28th, that's what we have the agreement on. We advertise 2 weeks before that date
Right.
with the drawings being available. I've done this a number of times. Okay, and that clears the contractor's plate, so when they get the drawings, they have 4 weeks to put their number together. Okay, in 4 weeks, then the bids are due, and we have 2 weeks after that date to do all our legal noise. Okay, to investigate, make sure the bonds are in order, make sure that the contractors we want on the job. Then we sign and we author, if everything's ready to go in 2 weeks, then we authorize construction to start.
So mid-September, we should have a signed contract for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, that would be the latest date.
But I am not comfortable letting a contract without a completion date in it.
Well, I'm putting the completion date in my contract that I want base bid, I want to be done by fall of 25 before school starts. And then I want,
But Tom, I'm told that needs to be June, if that's.
Right. Yeah, you have to get the building ready. There has to be preferably 3 months, but we
no,
could probably
we're
shorten.
gonna compress it a little bit. Okay, so give them a month, give them 2 months. Okay,
Well, let's give them 3 months.
stay with me here.
Yeah, stay
Okay.
with me.
One of the alternates.
3 months, I'm gonna suggest we go with 3 months because almost any contract of this size, there's gonna be things found that aren't in the plan. So let's plan for some buffer.
I don't think you have the luxury to plan for that much buffer. Stay with me, just one more step here would be an alternate to have a completion date. An alternate on the bid form would be having the completion date,
Like November or something.
yeah, like November before the Thanksgiving holiday. Okay, so that you have a chance then of getting in midway through the district school year. And then you can look at it, and if they're going to knock $100,000 off,
November of 24? Are you
November
talking-
of 24, yeah, so they have 4
No,
or 5
he's
more
talking
months.
24.
We started.
Yeah, because he said 25.
No,
Originally,
The
you
ori-
said 25.
I
Well,
did,
my
I did.
eyebrows went up.
I thank you for catching that. I'm
Well, I
at
didn't,
24.
I didn't say it, I let you go. 'cause it's
So
gonna
the
be
first
25.
statement you made was going to be June of 24.
No, I pushed it farther, June, July, August, August 1st, July 1st, something like that, of 24. 9 months.
We're going to pay out the wazoo.
That's why you have the alternate bid.
Well, I'm okay. I mentioned that a long time ago to do something like that.
Yeah.
But
I'm agreeing with you.
so, but we have to put a realistic one in to match the accelerated one. So then you have something to compare to.
Right.
So,
But the realistic one is sometime before the second semester begins.
no,
Well,
we already decided we didn't want to move mid-year.
That's what he decided. That's what,
so
I think it's a mistake to have the building sit there for 6 months and not move. We don't have to move.
But it won't if we bid it this way.
But let me say this, I just don't think that 9 months with an alternate for 12 months is realistic. I have been saying that it's 15 months to 18 months, not 9 to 12. I
The
just don't see
hardware,
it.
the hardware store, originally it was going to open in February, right? That's what I was told.
You guys opened it before that.
And it's opening this week,
I believe that's true.
soft opening. So that's March, April, May, June. That's 4 months on a small project.
Yeah.
So
And
let's not,
and there's
let's
35,
not,
there's
let's
35
plan
reasons for
for,
that which do not apply to this project.
let's plan for success, not failure. And not paying a premium. So we could, Tony, are you okay with bidding an alternate accelerated schedule? And then having a realistic schedule?
Well, as I said, I really think in my history that the highest success rate is to do deduct alternates across the board. So I think your base bid should be, what you think is possible, and then a deduct to what I might think is possible.
Do you think June 1st of 25 is realistic?
Of 25, I do, not of 24.
Yeah, you and I can build it by 25. But we get Macera in here with crew, and they get serious about it. They're going to build this thing.
If, you say
And then
if.
it's not-
I had mentioned 3 months ago, I talked with a contractor that works almost exclusively in schools. The past 3 years, they had one project complete on time. And he's a subcontractor. He installs the sprinkler systems. He said there was one project, school project, in 3 years that completed on time, and he probably worked on a couple of dozen. So that's what I'm saying. Let's
If I heard Tony right, what he's saying is he would be comfortable with us bidding it at 15 months and then the alternative 15 months is the alternative, 18 months would be the regular bid.
No,
I thought he said-
I'm
I thought he
saying
said 12 or 15.
15 would be the base bid, and then take a deduct for 18 months.
Okay. 15 and 18.
I mean, I recognize that it's longer time, and they're going to say, "Oh, general conditions, it's going to be more," but
Where's that 15 months and 18 months put us?
well, that's why I asked before. When do you plan on getting it on the street? I mean, like the fact that we wrap it up with 100% documents at the end of July, you can bid it whenever you want.
Okay,
that's
so Tony, if we bid it on the end of July, so that's 1/23. Okay, we bid it for a month. That's 9/1/23.
Well, we already decided mid-September was a good date to pick. So are you going 15 months and 18 months from mid-September?
That
Or
brings us
from
to
the end of July?
Why are you giving them 6 weeks? The drawings are given to us at the end of July, right?
That's
So
what,
we bid them July, August 1st. That'd be 8 months,
Like 3 days after we get them.
for 4 weeks.
right.
So now
That's
the bids are due, okay, I see what you're saying. The bids are due on the 1st.
Right.
We sign a contract on the 15th.
Right.
okay?
You with
So
me?
I'm working on it, Terry. Okay, so 12 months on that would be 9/15/24.
Right.
Okay,
Plus
that's
3.
12 months. And then you want another +3, so that's 12,
So that's December of
15,
24.
24,
November 24.
okay?
But
And
what
then-
good does that do us?
I think it does us a world of good.
You're not gonna get the building ready in a week.
No, we got 3 months.
Okay,
Okay.
we got
in-
6, 7 months.
In order to get to 12/15, the building's built in 12 months, and we have 3 months to prep it. Okay, and then we're gonna change in the middle of the year on this schedule. Okay, we're gonna put kids, we're gonna move kids over to that building in the middle of the year.
You can't.
Sure you can. The buses will like one day go the other direction.
Well, you just said December, we're gonna complete the project.
I didn't say that. In 12 months would be 9/15/24.
Right.
Plus 3 months is
Okay.
December.
All right, I'm
Okay,
with you.
so after December, we could do over the Christmas holiday, maybe tack an extra week on to
Okay,
move some furniture.
all right. So that's,
So if I could, let me just recap.
that's 12 months. He's not talking, he's saying 15 and 18.
No, that's 12 months plus 3. Okay, now if we do 15
Well, I don't
months.
think it is. Hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on,
no,
hold
you're
on,
right,
hold
you're right.
on, hold
It's only
on.
12 months of construction.
Right, so Tony, when you say 15 months, is that construction?
Yes, I was going to offer, if I could summarize the discussion I had a few weeks ago. I said, I see construction to substantial completion, which is the date we're concerned about, is being at least 15 months, more likely 18. And then the school, the principal and others said, and we're going to need at least 3 months to get the building ready. We are not going to change schools in the middle of the year. And my answer was, so that puts us at move in August of 2025,
Right,
which means the building has to be ready for you in around end of May, beginning of June. That's the schedule I was promoting, and that was the end of the discussion. So I'm still promoting. I'm still promoting that as the schedule.
Okay, I'm objecting to not moving when the building's ready. Okay, and I know that's a problem, but I also don't want to have this building sitting there while we fiddle. Okay, if the building's done, I want to move into it. Now, during substantial completion, we can move into this building. We can bring our furniture in. We haven't decided how much new furniture we're buying, how much old furniture we're moving. Okay. I don't accept the 3 months, and I don't accept that we have taken moving in the middle of the year off the table.
we already did though, right?
No,
Basically.
you did. I have
Just
not.
not me.
I have not.
It was, I know.
Okay, and I think. and
Ron,
I-
what do you think? 'Cause
Well, here's what I think.
before
I
you
think
came,
we're-
I'm not gonna sit here and get into all
I think
this
we're
stuff.
arguing about
gonna
something we
Give our
shouldn't be arguing
opinion,
about.
then we're gonna move on.
I think we should be figuring out when this is going to get done, and then we can argue about whether we move it or not once it's done.
I agree with you.
That's what I think.
All right.
I don't know why we're arguing about move-in date.
If it
Let's
gets
figure out when it's
done
going to
early,
get done, and then
Right.
we'll figure it then.
Right.
The board can argue about whether we're moving in or not moving in then.
And we could decide whether or not it's gonna be a soft opening or not. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to hold up here. I want to get this bid out and get it
Exactly.
going.
Yeah, the bid out and we have to get the bids out and get them back and sign some contracts.
right, and we have
But in-
that,
But in those contracts,
Figured
we're
out.
gonna have to put a date.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna need a proposed construction duration period to put into the advertiser for bid. They need to know what your expectation is. So I need to know this conversation's conclusion before the end of this month.
Right.
Or
Well, I think if I'm right, Tony, if
I'm
we-
sorry, before July 15th, somewhere in there.
If we look at it, you'd have 2 dates. One would be November, and the next one would be February. Am I
Or-
correct on what you said for the 15 and the 18?
But I'm gonna throw out, Ron, that if February, and I wouldn't, I'd be, like I mentioned, I think it's always good to put, especially a multi-year project, you have to build some float in there for unforeseen things. I mean, it happens on every project. So you plan for it. So February to me is maybe too much float, because that's gonna give you till end of August.
It's actually March 15th would be
So
the
that's
float, would be
three,
the
that's
18
5 months,
Plus
I
another
guess.
3 months.
We
Yeah.
could even, maybe even go to March on that second date. That way the contractors are more apt to bid it more reasonably at a lower price because you give them a little more time, you know? So
Well,
we could pick that accelerated date of, what is it, September 1st? Or
November is what I was figuring, for the
November.
accelerated dates, what I figured. I'm going off what Tony said he would be comfortable with was 15 and 18.
would be December 1st.
Maybe it is. I counted the dates here. I was going at November.
Yeah, at the same time you say that, Terry, it doesn't, if we don't make the semester break, then we might as well make the date the May 15th.
Well, yeah.
Okay, because
Except for leaving
that gives
some-
you the float, in
Right.
3 months. Okay, and that,
Well,
there's an extra
if
month.
I
or
may,
two.
what I would offer is you do not have to disclose what you believe is reasonable float time. In other words,
No,
I mean, you know, you decide now that you let's just say we're going to say it's, for lack of better terms, 21 months. So you tell them it's got to be done in 18, fully knowing that the school district has another 90 days that you're comfortable with. I would not
Correct.
tell them, you
Right.
know, the entire duration and then have nothing as an internal float. You need
I
internal
agree
float.
with you. I agree with you.
Tony, there'd also be a substantial penalty on this guys. So,
You guys broke up. I can't hear anything.
Well, let's figure these dates out first.
I
before we
can.
get into it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, let's figure out these dates first. And then, so if we get it done by November 1st,
Yeah, 15 is December. I just looked it up. It is
it's
December.
December 1st.
It's December.
So 1 month, I mean, we can decide whether we can, you know, put furniture in the building and get everything done in a month or 6 weeks, I guess, because you'd have a couple weeks maybe after Christmas, maybe if we had to. So are we okay with, I know you're not okay with.
I'm not okay, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
12/1,
Yeah, I'm okay with 12/1.
and then,
12/1/24.
4.
Correct.
12/1/24.
and then we'll pick,
3/15/24. Okay, it could be 3/1 or 4/1. It doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah.
Pick 4/1 because it's April Fool's Day.
yeah. We'll remember that.
25.
25 would be the alternate date.
Okay. So you're directing us to submit the bids with 2 dates, one for a completion of 15 months with a completion date December 1st, 2024, an alternate date of 18 months-ish at April 1st, 2025.
Yeah, that'd be 18 and a half months. And then you got 4 or 5 months to put a school together.
And I know this is the Building and Grounds Committee. I would just offer that the voice of concern was being raised on the what I would consider the operation side, the principal getting the teachers in there and get them acclimated, and they have to rewrite schedules. Apparently, there's a lot of other things that have to happen that aren't just, you know, getting the building ready.
Yeah, but Tony, if the building's ready on December 1st, we'll know that on September, and we'll make the adjustments, and we can decide not to do it. But there's going to be a lot of pressure to do it if we can get it done that so. Well, but we can make that decision. We can make that decision
Closer
in
to-
November.
Well, do we want
So
to,
I have those dates written down.
The calendar following.
Yeah, we'd have to plan for that.
And
in January.
But
teachers are gonna have
But
to
if you
sign off
remember,
on this too.
this school district delayed start for almost 2 weeks for the Ben Franklin project. Okay, that didn't happen.
Aaron, you wanted to say something?
My only concern with doing it halfway through the year like that, Mr. Hurley, with all due respect, is that the students will be uprooted from their school and we'll be trying to combine 2 schools in the middle of the year where these kids don't know each other, don't know their way around the buildings, we'd have to start teaching routines and everything all over again as if it was the first day of school. And that would also take away from education at that point in time.
Right.
And Aaron, I understand that. And but at the same time, we can discuss whether it would be better. Okay, I've got, I've certainly heard the pressure about putting fourth and fifth graders in the junior high school. I think because of all those evil eighth graders.
We had to do that though. But in the 1 grade level would only be in that building then for 3.5 months or whatever, 4
Yeah,
months.
for
you
a
know.
full semester.
Right,
Yeah, or we could choose to leave the grades
Right.
level there and bring just the fourth grade in.
yeah. What I'm afraid
We have
of is,
options.
what I'm afraid of though too, we'll have some contractor out there say, yes, I can meet that date. And then we're gonna pay a premium. And then come December 1st, the building's not gonna be done. You know.
Well, remember, on bid day or very shortly after, you can choose to take the alternate that extends it, to the other 3 months. You don't have to take the base bid that says, the 15 months.
Well, I'd do the base bid as the 19-month one or whatever.
You see, I'm okay doing whatever you want to do. I'm just saying that when you start mixing ads and deduct alternates, the game changes pretty quickly. As Tom said about changing the low bidder and who's in and who's out, I don't really care how you want to do it. I'll do it any way you want. I'm just saying that it gets more complicated when you start mixing ads and deducts.
Are we sure we want to do this way?
I'm okay with it.
Ron?
I'm okay, because we don't have to take the accelerated bid. If it comes in high, we don't have to take it.
But
can say it's too much.
do we want that as the base bid or do we want that as the alternate bid?
That would be the alternate. Sure, it would be the alternate, in my opinion. We don't have to take it.
Tony's not
No,
agreeing.
Yeah, the accelerated bid would be the base bid. The alternate, number one alternate would be the longer bid, the extended bid. Is how
That
Tony
doesn't
suggested.
sound right to me, but
It don't sound right to me either.
Yeah, you want to do on the bid, on the bid forms, you want to do minuses.
I understand that.
Well, look at it this way. If they say, oh, it's an ad to add the 90 days, then just take the base bid.
Huh?
If they come back and say it's more to extend the schedule, say thank you. We'll just take the base bid, get it done in 15 months, not 18. I mean, I think that's the reason that you take the 15 months as the base bid, because you're wanting to see who's going to cut you a break to go to 18, or somebody's going to say, oh, there's no benefit to the school district to do that. There's a benefit to us, and it's going to cost you more. I don't. So I think the base bid should be the 15 months and the alternate should be the 18. And some people might say it's not a deduct, it's an ad. So you say, okay, well, then we're going to stay with the base bid.
So question of wording then, am I understanding this correct? So we'll just say that the 18-month is the base bid and the 15-month is the accelerated bid?
No, we're just
Oh,
going
No,
to.
it's not accelerated. That's
They're
all.
saying the opposite way.
Yeah.
So 15 months is the base bid,
Right.
18 months is the alternate.
Tony, I thought the reason for the accelerated bid is because they're gonna have to put more staff on and more construction guys on to get this done. And usually,
Well,
I'm
you
thinking
guys usually-
15 months is
you
gonna be
guys-
higher than the 18-month bid or 20-month bid.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be, and then we'll be sitting, well,
Yeah.
you guys will be sitting
don't-
here fighting about whether or not you're gonna take that bid.
Tony's
No,
point though,
we'll be here
Tony's
for the
point
bid.
No,
though,
that's right, we will be.
Tony's point though is that you don't know that. It's going to take the same amount of man hours to build the building. And whether you stretch it over 18 months or 15 months, the question, and somebody may say it's going to take more supervisory time and office time,
It's
and
going
that's
to
going to
take more
offset.
time and a half. And it's also going to, you're
Not
going to pay a
necessarily.
premium to get certain piece of equipment and material.
And that's,
And an accelerated
and
schedule.
that's all that's possibly true, but not necessary.
It is all possibly true.
It is possibly true,
Highly
but
possible.
we don't know that.
I do know that. I've done it.
And what I would offer is, words have meaning. I would not be calling it an accelerated bid. I would just call it the base bid and an alternate bid. Because when you say accelerated, that automatically brings the connotation of it's going to cost more to accelerate. Just call it the base bid.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Off we go.
Base bid
Makes
and then
sense.
Okay.
bid them both ways.
Anything else on the schedule?
No, I have those dates written down, but if somebody could get back to me in the next couple of weeks with, what your final decision is, I'd be very happy.
Jared, do you know?
Yeah, we can have a conversation, Tony, about what we want to make the bids due, all those dates, so.
Tony, do you think you're going to get the drawings done before the 28th?
He's trying, he said.
Well, we are bound by the papers that have been signed, right? So I am not changing my efforts to get it done by the 15th. But I don't
Okay.
know that it'll be released to anybody before the 28th. I will
And
do
we
my
want the
best.
best quality of plans.
Well,
too.
I mean, what we can do here is we can plan on releasing the drawings on the 1st of August, and we can advertise on the 15th of July, sorry.
But I would also really appreciate any, what I would consider material changes. We modified the food service, we modified the offices and some other things based on our last conversations. If you see anything materially that we need to change, I need to know quickly because, getting it all incorporated with everybody that's involved isn't a one-day event.
Tony, I had a wall move 6 inches this week. It affected 34 drawings.
Oh, you're doing too many drawings.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Have a nice evening.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Next up is capital reserve budget.
There should be a copy to everybody's seat. Just wanted to make sure it will be on the agenda for next Monday at the board meeting to approve. We've talked about it a couple of times. Wanted to make sure the committee didn't have any changes at this point.
Couple of comments. The security and the public address systems, I thought the board approved those.
Isn't it
Toward the
already
top.
planned?
There's been no formal approval of any mass notification systems.
Can we jog down through this just
Okay.
a minute?
I was confusing it with executive session, but
It's one of our, we'll still have to.
it's one of our topics
Yeah, right. Yeah.
that we'll put on a motion.
Can we jog down through this? I want to understand, teacher's desk at 15,000, that has not been, that's what we normally do.
That's the typical placeholder.
That's not a contract current.
No.
Carpet replacement, 50,000, the same thing. Concrete repairs, the same thing. And we'll leave public address the same. We'll leave security improvements, auditorium lighting, that comes off. Musical instruments, we can take that off. Asbestos floor replacement, where's that?
That is just a placeholder that we have.
Okay, so not a contract yet. What I'm asking is what are we obligated right now to do? And so we're
There's
gonna
two
get,
items that we talked about the last time
That's
that
the
you
BA?
board approved already.
Okay.
The BA.
okay. I'm gonna suggest that we hold off on all optional repair work until we know what this bid's coming in at. That we reserve our monies as much as we possibly can on this list for this year.
It's up to the board.
Yeah, we can always, once the bids are in, we can always reactivate it.
But what, Tom, the only two items which we have to go forward with, the 500,000, 120, that the board approved.
Right. Right. And
So nothing else has officially come as a motion.
Right.
I think we could, my opinion is we could leave this the way it is
And just not approve it anymore.
and decide whether we approve it or not
One
as
of the
things come
problems
up.
though is that when we approve this list, Cheney can go out and spend $15,000 on carpeting. He won't bring that back to the board. Okay, that's kind of a budget item he works against as I understand this list. Okay, the only two things I'd like to see that we maintain on this list is the security and the security and public, the PA and the security, those two items. That we get those authorized and get those.
Well, those items are going to come back for actual board approval anyways.
Right, right.
Those-
But those, and the rest of this list, everything that's on the right-hand side, the rigging repairs, the boiler stack replacement of the maintenance truck, the playground equipment, we just put a hold on optional spending is what I'm advocating.
How long has the playground stuff been sitting at Ben Franklin?
I believe that we authorized.
You just
that.
approved that at the last board meeting, so
Right.
that's moving.
I'd like to, okay, so if you keep that stuff back and you don't get it, like the maintenance truck and whatnot. How long have you guys been pushing that back?
This year, I'm willing to push it back, because I'd rather buy the playground at Eisenhower if it comes down to it, out of this fund, if we have to do it that way.
But isn't this fund also for the playground at East Pike as
The
well?
playground at East Pike was authorized at the last board meeting, is that not right?
Right?
It was, I mean, it'll come out of the money
off
here,
this month.
out of capital reserve.
So
So that's part of that money.
is that 30,000? Or is that something else? Where's the playground at East Pike?
There would be, it's playground, just the general playground equipment, the $30,000.
Okay, so we can put a VA beside that. That's already been authorized. So we can't take that back.
Right, that's good.
Okay, but replacing carpeting district-wide, we can use the carpeting for one more year.
Maybe,
You can shampoo it. No.
unless there's holes in it.
Can we use it one more year? And if not, why not? Does it have holes in it?
I'll
Does,
email the guys that email today. Tell them these 5 rooms, we want to do.
Is it
Tell them now.
well, why are we doing them? Is the carpet cut? Is it just dirty beyond?
Seams torn, numerous stains. I chose the 5 worst I had 16 rooms measured.
Trip and fall hazards or,
Bad shape.
what'd you say?
Another item I have would be under concrete repairs out front here on railing missing.
I know, I saw that on the way in.
Yeah.
That's where I picked this up.
Yeah.
So you don't think the carpet, do you think that the carpet replacement will take the full amount here that you've budgeted?
Yeah,
I did not take it.
but what he's doing is he's spending about $15,000 on carpeting. And the worst
50.
carpet that you can find.
50,000 is
50.
carpet
I'm sorry.
and he's not spending all of it.
How much do you think is?
What I totaled an email to gentleman today was 31,114 or something like that.
It's about 31,000.
I didn't want to go to the whole.
Square feet.
So
where
where
are you?
Cost.
31,000.
Cost.
Oh,
Good
A
dollars.
little bit over 31. That's 5 rooms.
In all the same building?
No, 2 rooms. East Pike and Bedford.
The other thing on here I wanted to ask about is boilers. I see boilers on here. It's one last thing I don't see happen is go down in the middle of winter. Are those really in bad shape?
What, the junior high swimming pool boiler? Oh, I see the domestic
Yeah,
boiler.
the domestic boiler.
But that's not even, that's,
I'm getting pricing on a bunch of stuff that we got written up
Yeah.
by the boiler inspector. We can't say no, we have to do.
That's what I'm wondering, because I see up above there too, you got the boiler stack replacement at the senior high.
Some of
That's
these
all.
items are just we've been keeping them on here to make sure,
the things that should be done that,
Yeah.
Well, I think,
We'd
I'm
like
not gonna
to-
waste much more time on this, but I guess what I'm gonna suggest is, can you and Jared send us a list of what you're proposing to spend? I'd like to approve this the way it is. Send us a thing of what you propose, and then we can discuss it at audit and finance or have a motion on the agenda. Because
these items that we would authorize tonight to prove the way it is about $700,000 of items.
but we never spend all this, Tom.
And if you want to authorize it, go right ahead.
All right.
I would like to keep the optional spending. You have to do what the boiler inspector said. There's no choice. I understand that.
Right.
Okay. But I'm also not anxious to spend $700 if we can put it in a pocket for 6 months to get on the other side. of the
Well, you wouldn't, I mean, my understanding is that from the audit and finance perspective, we've approved this list in the past. That doesn't mean we do it all.
Right.
we typically don't do it all, no.
But usually, I mean, what's been the average for the past 4 or 5 years that we have taken off this number?
Or $300,000 or $400,000. I mean, when you don't have bigger items,
Yeah.
like the rooftop HVAC units, But I mean, in a typical year, it's 200,000-300,000, maybe 400 in a high year. I mean, we proved this so that we don't have to come back and say, well,
Right.
A5 needs carpeting in East Pike and here's pictures of it. Are you okay with us? I mean, is that what we're
The
getting?
railing falling
Yeah.
off and stuff. I
This-
mean, they really are pretty prudent with this list.
I hate to get too far behind on deferred maintenance. I understand what you're saying. It's just that it just gets worse and gets more expensive. That's my concern. I mean, all the number ones I think have, so I'm not opposed, but I do understand your argument that we have to be a little bit prudent here.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that too.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Cheney said, look, the 16 rooms that are his custodians are recommending carpeting need replaced, he narrowed it down to 5.
Okay?
So we're going to approve the list as permitted, but you would rather us to bring you specific things, or you just want to
Just-
be
If there's
prudent?
anything
Be prudent with our
And
stuff.
I
To
think
me, if
everybody
there's
is being
anything
prudent.
extraordinary,
And we typically do that anyways. I mean, even if we have this placeholder of public address systems or big security items, we're not going to go spend $150,000 in security.
Right.
We will bring cameras back. We bring that type of stuff back before we actually spend it.
Well, that's been the tough thing this year is the security. I mean, it's just become a difficult item from a budgetary point of view. It just seems to me that,
We need money for carpeting and security. Okay.
well, I don't know. I mean, well, here's what I would, I don't know if we'll have time to discuss this next week about finance or anything else, but I'd like to ask you, based on what you've been through already with these East Pike project, I think you're all gonna be really tied up with getting that done properly. We've all moved your offices and the whole place sounds like, from what I can gather, it must be a mess.
It's a bit of a mess, yes, ma'am.
So you think, I mean, is it gonna be done on time, and do you feel good about it?
We're doing everything we can on our end to make sure that it is. We meet with them weekly for updates.
Every 2 weeks. I mean, they haven't voiced any concerns about not being done by the beginning of the school
Yeah,
year
Well, that's
They-
at this point.
last meeting, I attended
yeah, it
last
was the
week's
first time.
meeting. And they did the one, and it's probably one that you mentioned to me, threw out a concern that if he didn't get these answers, he's already 2 weeks behind, waiting for an answer. So we got him the answer, so they
So that's
weren't,
been straightened out.
yeah,
Yeah, because I saw your email.
yeah. As of now, it's, yeah.
And I double checked with him today before because I was going to add anything on. There are no change orders. There's nothing outstanding right now that they are waiting for information on. So
Well, there's a couple things on the minutes that they said that there was going to be an RFI submitted on some extra decking maybe or something,
okay,
that they removed some bulkheads or something, and there wasn't any maybe or something. There
Okay.
was maybe something else too. So we're just going to stay on that.
yeah.
But to answer your question, we're not currently aware of any reason that should delay that project beyond the proposed completion date.
It's really,
Yeah.
So far, so good.
And I think there is some float there that they are to have it done. You remember, Jared? August.
So it was, yeah, like August 10th or
Yeah.
15th or
So
something.
there are a few weeks built in there. Okay, moving on to we're on East Pike renovation. They are moving forward. They have a lot of this, they're putting the lights up in the back old office area. They're starting to get ready to install the mini split systems. They have some of the walls rebuilt. A lot of the stuff's all demoed. They've refinished the wood decking and beams in the back there. And then up front, the admin staff just moved out of there on last Tuesday,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
and they're in there working, So I'll try to attend is it next week?
Yeah.
I'll be out of town next week. And then we'll look at those minutes and see what those couple change order things are. Just,
And I appreciate the board, responding to my email to get that change order approved, retroactively. But I think Mr. Harley brought up a good point. Do you want to give Jared and Cheney or, a smaller group of people or individuals power to approve those under a certain dollar amount so that we don't have to wait for 2 weeks to have a board meeting every time that something comes up?
And we've done that in the past, where we,
I
Remember the
might
dollar
have
amount,
to-
Jared?
I'd have to ask them.
We've done that for, I think, the high school projects and stuff like that, where
do you remember what the dollar was? Was it 5 or 10,000?
I think it depended on the project, however large the project was, but I think it was no more than $10,000, I think.
Could we make a motion for that, so that,
We can put it on the board agenda for next week
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
yeah, and just,
Next Monday.
we'll just make that as a flat, in perpetual, in all these projects.
all right. Moving on to number 4, internal right-of-way through Ben Franklin property for the ICCAP location. There was an updated drawing attached to the agenda. And I think it's,
And there should be a copy of everybody's seat as well.
I have a suggestion that we ask for a right-of-way past their buildings, past their parking lot that would tie into Mansfield Avenue for a future connection, or for a connection. Their building should be at least 10 feet off the property line. Yeah, so we could walk right through here or to bike, okay? It would allow us to bring pedestrians in the future into the backyard of Ben Franklin. And it'd be no cost to anybody, just the right of way. We don't have to develop it or anything else. We exchange the right of way. They have a right of way for the line, and we have a right of way to walk kids across behind the building.
I mean, ICAP's not asking for the right of way. Salzgiver, the company's providing them
I
internet.
know, but ICAP is the beneficiary. The property is owned by the public. The ICAP property is owned by the public. There's a 10-foot gap between the building and the property line in White Township. There should be. And that would give us a direct connection to that whole neighborhood, which we don't have now. And it's not, I mean, we grant a right of way, their right of way they're proposing is in the floodplain. We're never going to build a building on top of it.
is it, if you keep going almost with the yellow line, is that what you're talking about?
You see how the yellow line jogs up to that building?
Yeah,
Yeah, 10 feet
so
off
in
of that,
that opening there.
10 feet off of that building should be the property line that ICAP owns.
With that, too.
Right here's this is the ICAP building here.
So we just want a right of way
So-
through there?
Yeah, if we get a right of way
Well,
all
that-
along that
yeah.
southern line, it ties right into Mansfield. And gives us an option in the future of making that connection.
Is that a paper street?
Yeah, Mansfield is the main road into that development.
Right.
So
What I'm
we are
saying is
going to
this a
allow
paper
students to
street?
walk from,
Or bike,
I thought those areas were all considered too dangerous because of no sidewalks and not, so they can walk through, down Mansfield?
No, it's just that.
Mansfield, there's no sidewalks on the other
there's no
side.
sidewalks in White Township today.
Right, so can we
Ken,
allow students to walk?
all I'm asking for is a right of way. I'm asking a right of way so somebody in the future can make that connection. If the kids ride a bike, they don't have to go out on Shelling all the way around on Ben Franklin, they can come right across.
And who owns the building?
ICAP, the county does.
They bought it or they're renting it?
No, they bought it, they're spending $1.5 million renovating it.
I just think it's gonna
So we-
delay
we
things, but I
use
guess
this
Yeah,
as
that's,
but
like-
I don't care, okay, it doesn't, we can change, it's exchanging paperwork.
And it's always.
So now it's like
use later on.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah,
We'll do
yeah, we
this for
can-
you,
yeah.
you do that for us, and as long as,
Oh, okay.
all right. Jared, you got something else to do?
I don't know why they would object,
No, I don't think
as
it's
long
right.
as we don't have to pay to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, until we actually put a path in, it just gives us the right. Somebody 50 years from now will thank you if they can dig you up.
Was that fenced now, or that's not fenced?
There's a fence beside the building, off the building line. I think that fence is off the property line too.
That's why I'm wondering if it's a paper street in there.
I don't think it hurts to ask.
No,
How do you find out if it's a paper street? Does PennDOT have drawings?
No.
courthouse.
The courthouse? And it directly lines up with Mansfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
Then
asking
it might,
right away
then it
between
very
Mansfield and
well
West-
So we're not approving it. We're
We're
gonna,
just asking for a quid pro quo right away from Mansfield to
To Bedford, to
no, that's, what is that, Shelley Drive?
Shelley Drive. That's-
Shelley Drive.
From Shelley Drive to our property.
yeah, along their southern border.
Oh, I see what you're trying to say. Yeah, I get it. I don't know why they don't have it. But usage might become an issue.
Yeah.
Still, it's access.
All right. Number 5, playground equipment, East Pike installation status.
The board approved the quote to install the playground equipment, the first round of playground equipment over here at East Pike, the stuff that's sitting over at Ben Franklin. The company, we've reached out to them. We are scheduling a date here in the next month and a half for them to come do that. Our hope is that it'll be installed by before school starts.
Is that being installed in an existing playground?
No, it's the start of a new inclusive playground that will be that East Pike
Okay.
is working on right now, fundraising for because of the special needs classrooms.
Yeah, do we have a cost for the rubber surface yet?
It's probably around $50,000. But we are in the process of fundraising for not only equipment, but also the rubber surface as well.
And a path to that surface, a hard path?
Yeah, it's included.
Yep, East Pike is putting together a fundraising campaign and working with the PTA. I mean, if you want.
Yeah, the PTA, there's a group of parents that are working with the PTA. They have a fundraiser set up at Meadows, Chipotle. They have a T-shirt to drive. We have the website set up. We could share that as well.
Yeah, let's make a big deal of that at the board meeting.
Yes, sir.
It's also a lot easier to do that ground prep before that equipment's installed.
I think that's what you planned, correct?
The prep for the board in place surface will be done when the equipment that we currently have is put in place. The excavation will be done, the compacted to be surface will be
Okay,
put
so the
in,
only thing left
and then rubber mulch on top.
is the rubberized surface.
Rubber mulch.
At first, until we have the funds to build in
Board in
the,
place is
Once the inclusive piece is installed, then we'll put the poured surface in. But you don't want to put the poured surface down and then have to tear it back up to install the new pieces of the playground.
When are they coming?
Once we raise enough money to buy them.
So the playground at East Pike is going to become totally new. And it's going to be totally new with the stuff, the inclusive stuff, and the stuff that's sitting at Ben Franklin now.
so yes, so stage 1 is gonna be, they're gonna excavate the ground to get it ready for the future design.
Okay,
It'll also accommodate the stuff that's sitting at Ben Franklin, which will be moved to East Pike in the next couple of weeks to be installed on that newly excavated surface with rubber mulch down instead of the final product, because we don't have the funds to pay for the final product just yet. So as that
Okay.
fundraising is complete, the final surface will be put in place, as will the adaptive playground equipment. Did I summarize that?
okay, so it's
was
two
fine.
things going to the same place.
Correct.
My comment about this is going to be the same comment that I made about the Ben Franklin outdoor classroom. We have a Ben Franklin outdoor classroom. We should have an East Pike outdoor classroom. All students means all students. And if we've got an inclusive playground at East Pike, we should have one at Ben Franklin. So I would hope that fundraising could become more general for these things and try to, incorporate those kind of ideas for all of the elementary schools.
I agree.
It's, if there's a place at East Pike where there could be an outdoor classroom, we can get Mr. Moran to, point to an East Pike teacher or
I heard he's
himself?
being transferred, isn't he?
Is he? He's being transferred to East Pike. But I mean, it's something that I think the community
Sean,
would
East
support,
Pike.
and I don't think that it's,
I agree. I
the
think,
first
You know, they might
comment I
have
heard
to
about the
principal,
inclusive
too.
playground was, we're gonna get one at Ben Franklin also. And there
I
have
think
been
there's-
several comments about, boy, I wish we could have that classroom, outdoor classroom at East Pike.
agreed. And I
So-
think East Pike has to take precedent because that's where our life skills classroom is. So it's going to be a much bigger need. So I agree 100%.
I'm assuming that the playground at Eisenhower is accessible. The new playground at
New
Eisenhower.
playground,
Okay, so
yeah,
this is
should
like
be.
the regular, and this is, okay.
Can you
Where?
make sure that?
It's at the new building for Ike, we had adapted
Yeah.
equipment.
I thought so.
Yeah, we
We
needed
need to double check.
That's okay, yeah.
Good conversation piece for Monday night. Yeah.
The,
Now, White Township was supposed to put an amphitheater in on
Is this like
East
the
Pike. Is that
things?
still on the agenda with them?
if they didn't.
It's on the agenda,
one
but
that they
they're
have that,
applying for funding.
Okay, I knew they tabled it the last time I seen their minutes.
Because
Yeah, behind
ground
in the back,
surface is
yeah.
built.
That's-
They have funding to do the grading, but not funding to do the staging.
All right.
But we will be allowed to use that. The students will be allowed to use that.
Correct, he said, yeah.
Okay, that's a big cost there.
Yeah.
That's,
All right,
I can see it. on
Let's
the-
pull it back in here. We got the East Pike clarified. So let's move on to the equipment for Ike students at the junior high. This has come up in the past a few times. I don't know if it's an issue. It was mentioned to me again by someone, a parent. So throwing it out there. It is.
I can just speak that the students use the field at the junior high, and it's just an open field. We do plan activities for them. We play kickball, we do those kinds of things. We are still on the rotation. We walk to King Park there's a 5-day cycle, so like 4th grade goes on day 4 and 5th grade goes on day 5 roughly. But if the weather isn't cooperating, we bounce the day, so if they get in every 5-day period, they go down to King Park. The park is down there. They recently redid the pickleball course. The kids do enjoy going to the park. We use our pass time for the walking part of it, and then we use our recess time for the actual time there. So that was kind of our outside the box solution for what was going on.
Pretty good solution.
How much
Yeah.
time do they get to spend at the park,
About 45 minutes.
including the walk to and from?
It's an hour that we allotted, so it takes about 10 minutes from the walk and maybe 5 to 10 minutes to walk back. So very fast to get back. Really, it's crazy. I can get.
It'd be the other way around.
You think so? They want to get to lunch.
So,
there's that.
It's like before lunch.
so we're okay with that for,
Mhm.
That's what we've been doing for the last year and a half. That was kind of our outside the box solution to the issue. Kennedy King Park is White Township's public park down there. The equipment is very nice down there. We did have one issue with some dogs that were running through, but we did call the police and we were able to take care of that fairly quickly.
okay, Thank you.
I can attest that the equipment there is first class.
It is,
Yeah, it's a
we
nice
enjoy
park.
it, and it does, it's, the nurse is liking it because it gets the kids moving.
Yeah, okay.
Walking.
all right.
White Township's really improved that park in the last decade.
Okay, thanks. Number 6 is junior high pool. I know it's probably been 2 months maybe since we had a meeting over there at the junior high and the pool was drained at the time. There was a leak. Never heard anything since then. Because when we left there, some phone calls were going to be made to some other pool contractors, try to find a leak. And then we were also, the board was to see a list of equipment that needed replaced and a price with that. So that was 2 months ago.
I don't have any equipment prices. 2 weeks ago, and I do a week-to-week plan for myself when I'm working for, I was going to go over and use the product that I purchased to do the leak testing by us. And then I had this issue with the sciatica, and because I want to be there when it happens. I want to visualize it. So that's what I'm working to next week. That's my plan.
So,
And I can tell you, I've tried to reach out to multiple more commercial pool companies. I mean, we did reach out to some local who to see if we could get other people to come in and take a look at it. I even reached out to somebody in Ohio to ask, do you have PA contacts for people? There really isn't anything on state contract that I could find. If there's companies who could come in and also consult with us, I've reached out to Central Cambria, St. Francis. I know Cheney talked to IUP as well, and most of the answers we've gotten are, well, it's just our local guy who's been taking care of the pool.
Did you call Devners? Because I spoke with Devners. They were in my development working on a neighbor's pool. And so
I believe that's the one I called to, and
And they,
basically,
he said call the office in Blairsville. The guy there's more of a commercial pool person. And then I talked with, I think it was that guy, but then I also talked with somebody from Homer City, the outdoor pool, and Devners went and found the leak there. They were losing like 1 million gallons a week or something, or, so the Devners will troubleshoot it, they said.
Do they do cameras?
They do have cameras, and so does,
Because COG also
COG.
does
right,
that, and
Yeah.
that's Council of Governments, all the sewer lines, storm drains, anything that you see anybody out cameraing, that's
and they offered
got-
to,
good equipment, and they
Do it,
will
too.
come.
right,
What was that last one, COGS?
COG, C-O-G, Council of Government.
it's in Blairsville still?
Yeah, it's got a Blairsville.
Have we not
Blairsville or
been,
Homer
have
City.
we not been having swimming?
What's that?
No, the pool's empty.
The pool's
Pool's
empty.
empty.
Pool's been empty.
They filled it up to about, 4 feet? And then overnight or over the weekend, it lost like 6 inches. And it was all running down into I call it the pool control room,
Well,
coming out around the drain pipe evidently. So,
and then, Tom, there was discussion too, because from what we were told, there's a lot of equipment that needs replaced in that whole room and the pool and stuff. There's gonna have to be a decision made whether we keep the pole or we don't keep the pole, I guess, is from what I'm hearing.
It's
So,
a money pit.
yeah, it's gonna be costly to upgrade it all. So we need all this information at some point sooner than later.
Well, it's affecting academics, guys.
Right.
We've been over a month without a pool. There's a whole cohort of kids that are
Couple
swimming.
months.
it's been a
You know,
couple
this
months
this
since we were there, and
is
it was
this is
drained
not something
before
we
that.
should be doing casually. This is something that needs to get resolved.
What were you trying to say, Chan?
Boiler for the pool was also written up by the boiler inspector, and it essentially is a full replacement.
Why was it written up?
Bring that.
Why was it written up?
Many problems. It's end of life, it's past end of life.
It passed last year and now it doesn't pass at all.
The last time we repaired we could not get it out and put a screw in. And then it goes, it's done.
So the inspector failed because you put a screw in it by trying to make it last as long as you could, I know.
That's no different than just with that boiler.
All right.
It's very small.
All right, so moving on,
Oh,
we got a problem with the pole. We want information on cost to upgrade everything that needs replaced and upgraded. And we need to get whoever in there to find the leak.
And we have a price on the capital reserve budget, $20,000 for the pool boiler.
Where
Is
is
that, it's a number 2 item, and it's not in the planned project column,
Well, we
it's
ought to
the
move that
estimate.
up to a number 1 if it's.
Yeah, if that's what you're, if that's
Red
what
tag.
you're doing.
If we think teaching kids to swim is important, we need to get this pool back online.
And I do,
Well, we
Tom.
either need to do that, or we need to make them go to the Y.
Yeah,
So let's move that to a number 1.
I like that idea.
When you turn it into a racquetball.
Pickleball.
The ball pit.
All right. So for next meeting, then we're gonna have the list of upgrades and the costs associated with that.
Is there any chance of getting it for Julie's meeting?
What, next week?
If we wait a month, we've lost now half a
We
year.
waited 2 or 3 months already.
but now we don't have another building.
Tom missed that though, Terry.
We
We're
won't have
talking
another
about that in
buildings
the
and
building and
grounds.
grounds meeting on Monday.
That's just for these 95% plans.
That's-
Can we
yeah,
talk about this then, maybe too?
Not with,
We want to,
And Jared's getting ready to say there's gonna be no building and grounds meeting in July, right?
There's not one
Because
scheduled.
Yeah,
We
it's
typically
gonna be
try not
August if we
schedule
don't do meetings in
committee
July.
meetings in July.
And if we're meeting, 4
The
o'clock
pool
on
doesn't-
Monday, maybe.
Oh, Walter will figure out how to have a couple of meetings.
The pool typically does not even open in a normal year till November. And then they're typically done by April. And I don't necessarily know, and we could check, and maybe, I don't know if Erin knows, she's on junior high. Do they give swim lessons? I don't believe that is part of our curriculum, right? They're not teaching kids to swim at the
Since,
junior high level.
since COVID, we basically shut the pool down during COVID, and then it was being reintroduced, but I don't know if they've come back to the full program or not. Yeah, so we have to find out.
But when there was all the to-do about getting it open during COVID and getting the safety plan done and all that stuff, it was because it's part of our curriculum, we have to have it.
They use it for activities.
Just
But I don't-
activities, not curriculum, not teaching to swim.
I don't know that they are individually teaching kids to swim.
But they're using it,
Oh, yeah.
they're using it as physical education?
That's part of HP, yes.
Yes, yes, so it's part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they were teaching kids to swim, because I
So-
thought there was a conversation
You
about
find out the building,
the lifeguard from the Y and
Yeah.
how soon they would be there and.
HPE will actually be here on August 7th or September to talk about their new curriculum, so we'll absolutely have, definitive answers by then.
We need an answer. If the pool is not being used in an academic setting, then we can fill it. Okay, if it is being used to teach kids about water safety or something in physical education, pretty much the whole year, then we gotta spend the money. See, I'm a little surprised that they're wasting 2 or 3 months of not using the pool because
Well,
every day we fill that water.
here's the thing, we used to, years ago, to have the 4th grade learn to swim, right? Wasn't it the 4th grade that went to the
We took them to the
YMCA?
Y, yeah, to swim,
Yeah.
to learn to swim.
And then weren't swimming classes there, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't swimming classes thereafter at the junior high optional?
I don't know, I think at one point there was somebody who was renting the pool to give swim lessons.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever, once you had the 4th graders, was it 4th or 5th? And they all had to spend time in the winter and go to swimming classes at the Y, and we paid the Y, and it was great. Nobody loves to swim more than I do, and nobody loves swimming pools, any kind of pool, I love to swim. But this junior high pool is become a very expensive toy at this point, because I remember the board member who just didn't want it out at the Y, and that was it. And I don't know why we can't, I think in the long run would be a lot more cost effective to have them swimming while they're still little and find it fun, and aren't fussing about in the junior high, putting on bathing suits and getting in front of one another and running around. I mean,
And we can bring you options. We can look at
Yeah.
what the cost is when we repair it, look at how much it's actually used in the curriculum these days, and then, what it would cost to partner with the Y to have the 4th or 3rd or whatever grade it is that we take down there to teach them how to swim, and then we'll have options. That'd be my
there's a
recommendation.
point where this pool is just getting to be too much.
Terry,
Yeah, and we either commit to the pool or we don't.
Well,
well, Terry, our email from Mike Vukovich about the student dropping the goggles and the glass, that was February 6th.
Yeah.
So it's been closed a lot more than 2 months.
4 months. 4.5 months. So,
We have relationships with IUP, we're doing, I think we should just check it out with the Y
he'll
and
bring
make
back
it
auctions.
part of
Yeah.
the, yeah.
Or we could get Tony back on here. We could add a pool to the Eisenhower.
There you go.
We could use a wonderful light pool that opens up.
That's what I was just thinking.
Well, the geese could use it. The geese could use it too.
the geese we could have a fountain.
They can run it out to the board members.
All right. East Pike. Couple of little things here. Placing aggregate next to the driveway. We've talked about this for 3 years. So, and I noticed that wasn't placed yet. Is that on the whiteboard anywhere, Cheney, or?
I ever heard of any talk about it.
We've had discussions 3 years ago about it, 3
Yeah, when it
years.
got paved. Because it's got the drop off and you don't get something up against that.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna have
Crack.
equipment out there doing the playground, right?
Yeah.
Be a good time to do it.
That's not our, that would be the contract.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see that done here this summer, so. So cost estimate of the removal of detached building near playground, we talked about that in the past 3
Which building
years.
is that?
I
The
thought,
one that's fallen in,
I
next
thought-
to the playground.
Little
way
shelter
down.
type thing.
I thought before I got on the board, it was approved that you're gonna tear that down.
I thought we were moving forward with getting a price on demolishing it. And again, that went into a black hole.
We use that for storage?
Yeah, I have no idea.
You wonder.
First I'm hearing of it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, so this was before I was on the board.
A number of years ago, it was.
Right, but we talked about one 2 or 3 years ago to get another price.
Do we need, if we put the roof on it, is the building useful for storage for these pipe?
I have no
It's a
idea.
pretty
If the
small
building-
roof.
If the building were gone, is it a good place for inclusive playground
Adaptive
equipment?
playground
Or,
equipment.
you know, does it do anything?
They're two separate locations. The inclusive playground is gonna be installed on the A wing at East Pike.
Which
Oh.
one's the A-wing?
And the A wing is on the left side. So if you're
Closest to
looking-
the, as you come off the
Behind-
road.
Totally
Closest
Behind
to
the
ST.
Behind the building?
So it's a totally
behind the
new
building.
playground.
It was a totally new playground, but the idea was to have it as inclusive as possible, so it's not separated.
And then the old playground stays there also?
Yes.
What would you use it for storage for, like tractors? Or, because I don't think it's conditioned
The
It's
building
not
is on-
conditioned, I'm sure, but
and
it could be outdoor storage.
do we want that?
That's what I'm asking. Okay,
Yeah, that's
we're
what I'm
always
asking.
looking for storage. And my question is, rather than tear it down and spend $20,000 tearing it down, we can spend $20,000 and put a roof on it. It's not that big. If it would be useful. And
Would the ICTC people be interested in,
yeah,
if we bought trusses?
I think it's just Raptor stereo. It's a simple.
Doesn't have a
building.
flat roof, doesn't it?
It's a flat roof now. Yeah, it's beams. They're all rotted out there.
We could take a look at it and see, but I hesitate to take it off the board if it has a use to the district. We're always looking for a place to put something.
So do you and I or the committee want to look at that?
I think all the retired people should go out and look at it.
Of course. So we're gonna reevaluate the situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it has a use for the district, then let's put a roof on it and then use it.
Right. Okay. Number 8, the Adagio Health Vape Detectors. This was also attached to the agenda as a link. Looks like we got some money from that settlement, right?
Yes, sir. So, and Mr. Bowers is joining us remotely because I believe he's at a baseball playoff game at the moment. But Adagio, if you remember, a year and a half ago, I think, we partnered with Adagio Health. We had a list of things that we needed to complete in order to qualify for these funds. One, we had to establish a true club, which Mr. Bowers and completed at the junior high, and they got one going at the senior high as well. Then we had to adapt our HPE curriculum to talk about the dangers of vaping, which we got that done and got that approved as well. And then we had to have so many participants and participate in so many activities to qualify for this, which Mr. Bowers and his team is using the student council have done a great job. And those kids went to Harrisburg and advocated for legislation, and they've been very, very active. Because we've checked all those boxes, Adagio is now able to give us about $60,000 worth of vape detectors for free. So, I mean, they're expensive, they're state of the art. He can tell you a little bit more about them, but there is going to be an installation cost. So the devices themselves are free. The installation we would have to pay for. So there's two different projects. Two projects for installation are about $24,000 total. The to get the $60,000 worth of equipment.
And I thought when we talked about this a year and a half ago or whenever it was, that we were gonna do the install.
We are, we're gonna use the Jewel money from the Jewel settlement that the district got to pay for most of it. So I don't remember exactly what.
So I guess all we need is a motion on the agenda to
accept that and to authorize.
to get them installed.
Yeah, Mr. Bowers, did I miss anything?
There was one thing, Eli Gerhardt from Direct Tech reached out to me. And he said that Adagio wanted him to get the number down closer to 51,000. So in order to do that, we're still having all the bathrooms, having vape detectors installed in all the bathrooms, but the locker rooms in each, the senior and junior high will only have one vape detector. We were planning on 3, but still it's going to be $51,000 of vape detectors that they will be covering. It will knock our installation costs down a couple $100. It'll definitely be under $24,000. But
Let me ask you this, Dawn. Dawn, let me ask this question.
Go ahead.
What would it cost to install 4 more additional vape detectors, 2 in each of the locker rooms, and just get this done?
So we were at 60,893 before that Adagio was paying for. Right now, it's going to be down to about 51,000. So I would say about a little over $9,000 for that additional money, and that's with Eli eating some of that. He said because he wanted to make sure that we had sufficient coverage within our locker rooms and bathrooms and everything. So we do think, I talked to him a little more about this. There is a phys ed teacher in our locker rooms during the time the students are in there. We do think we can place it strategically enough to, have them, be effective. These are new vape detectors. Actually, the fact that we had to wait a little bit was kind of a blessing in disguise. We're going from the Halo 2 to the Halo 3. They actually detect THC as well as vape and smoke. And they also detect sound abnormalities such as gunfire or loud yelling or screaming or any type of physical aggression. So it worked out that it took a little longer because we were able to get the better product. But, I could have him, look into getting those additional ones. But with that Jewel money, we're almost coming out of this clean without having to pay for anything. It'd be a couple $1,000s extra for the installation.
Don, Tom Harley.
Yep.
What installation? What does the installation look like? Are these things interconnected or to a control panel, or are they powered?
They are wired. They would be wired. It's like a box that sits in the bathroom, but they are wired to some type of system that they use that sends us a notification through email and text message if they're set off. So it's not like an alarm or anything like that. We would just identify certain staff members that get this notification.
Are they wired with line power or with low voltage?
I do not know that.
I'm trying to understand. They're just not. These are just. They're just going to stick them up on the wall.
Cat 6.
Okay. Okay.
124 volt or 120 volt.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're using the data wires and the voltage to power. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Okay, so
okay
that's
either
a
way.
deadline.
Put it on the agenda and put the numbers to it. With probably flip a coin whether you want that much coverage in the locker rooms.
I just wish I could be a fly on the wall the first time one of the kids get caught.
I will tell you, our plan is to let them know that they're there. But we think having them there is going to be a big help in trying to stop the vaping problem that we're seeing at the secondary school.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they will. It's just that I know kids are going to forget 5 seconds after you tell them.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be.
Yeah, I guess Jared or Dawn, how much additional money do we need if we do the additional 4 installs?
The installation was originally at the 60,893. I mean, not the installation. I'm sorry. The vaping, the vape detectors was 60,893. It drops down to 51,000 without those. So, like I said, it'd be probably around $9,000 additional.
But that was 3 in each locker room, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it'd be a total of 4 because we're going to keep 1 in the locker rooms. That was the breakdown that Eli gave me. I could have him provide, the numbers for that if you guys were interested in doing that.
But I'm confused though. Where's the Jewel money?
That's for
What's it paying
installation.
for?
It's gonna pay
How
for the
much-
installation.
Yeah.
Just
It's gonna help pay
installation.
for
we didn't get-
installation.
The equipment itself is coming through Adagio
Yeah.
grant that they
Just
have.
for a grant for, that's what that company does, is they try to fight,
Right,
vaping, so they invest that money
right,
How much?
for the
fuel
equipment.
is-
for the equipment.
So they're paying for all the equipment.
They're paying for every piece of equipment.
Every piece of equipment.
Correct.
That's, yeah, okay, so you're saying they're paying
Well,
for all this.
they're gonna they're giving us what they can afford, so they divvy the money up between the participating schools. So, yeah, we're gonna get $51,000.
And that, but that's not for all of them because minus
That's -4.
two short, so four.
So for another 10,000, we get
Full coverage of the loan.
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't do that.
How much
The
fuel money is
contractor's
there?
there.
Wasn't it 15,000?
Is there more than
I thought it was
25,000?
No, there's not.
No.
It's not, it doesn't even cover the installation.
No, it's 15.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that check yet, but that's what they're estimating.
Will you bring a motion to the board with the final numbers?
Yes, sir.
Anything else on that? And I don't think we have a to-do list yet, or a follow-up.
Rob
list,
has a
right?
to-do list.
We did have a to-do list. Mr. Woodring, when we talked about it, the bollard at Horace Mann has been installed. You want to go through those items we talked about?
What kind of to-do?
Bollard is installed. One of the hydrants in the Ben Franklin upper classroom area was repaired. When we brought a guy out to look at those, to identify, because they're very old, we had to bring somebody in. They're made by Zurn. He finally found the parts for us. We ordered for 3. Then we went to install them, found out there are 3 different sizes. You can't make it up.
It's coming.
So we have one working, we're working on procuring the parts for the other 2. And we have someone assigned to upkeep all that, the plants and stuff throughout the summer here.
Do we have a way to turn that on?
The one is working.
Yeah, is there a key or something to
It's
turn?
a special key, yes.
Yeah, does
Yeah.
anybody have that? That we
That's
can-
at the building.
You,
Where
I mean,
at
who
the building?
has it?
Head of
We can-
maintenance, or the.
If we want to water the flowers and that, who does it? I mean, who can get
We're
the
taking
key?
care of it.
Oh, you're gonna water, okay, great, great,
Yeah, we just dedicated that responsibility today.
thank you.
So that's taken care of.
But feel free to back check.
You know I will. You know I
I wasn't
will.
gonna keep you out.
I'll put it on the schedule, we can do.
How many plants did they lose?
I don't know how many's gone out of there now. I know the
Because of that-
rhododendrons when I went up were dying. I don't know if they finished dying or not. And the herbs were all dying.
Because we went so long without rain, even the last
Yeah.
rainy days wouldn't have saved them.
That sucks.
The pool, we've
Cover the pool.
pretty much covered that.
Well, when are we gonna talk about the pool next? We didn't really land on that, did we?
Pool next?
Yeah, you're gonna come back with some options, but
Yeah,
to
correct.
what meeting and when?
We'll get it done as soon as we can. We're not gonna be able to do it by next week, I can tell you that, but
Yeah, We're not gonna have the pool back this semester.
well,
Can you have repair
costs.
costs for the boilers and
We can.
stuff that's needed for Monday night?
As soon as we
No?
have them.
Okay,
Send it out
I
to the
didn't, you
board
said
just
it
for
was in the works, I didn't know how far.
We can we'll get the list of repair costs. We'll send that out to the board in the email, so we're ready to discuss that at the next building grounds. If we want to schedule a special one in July, we can. If you want to wait till August, we can. And then, at the same time, I'll reach out to, the YMCA and see what it would cost us to bring the
If
4th
we were
grade down.
if we were to be able to work out something with the Y, you wouldn't have to keep the pool open, you wouldn't have to pay for
We can
it.
compare those costs. What it would cost to bust those kids down for how long and versus keeping the pool open and keeping it viable.
I wouldn't hold your breath if the Y has space to give us. So just make that inquiry and find out. But,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
We'll reach out.
they're both.
Go ahead, Cheney.
And the pool typically doesn't open anyways in normal year till November.
November, yeah.
Why is that?
Even during the day?
It's part of their curriculum
That's
cycle.
when it goes into their curriculum.
Go ahead,
I
Jane.
don't understand that, but nobody hears me.
No, nobody's here. Let's keep going. Janie,
Well, but that will affect the academics.
we know that.
I don't understand why we're not.
We'll have a report for that too. I'll make sure that's part of my report.
There's two other items on this list that we haven't talked about tonight. One being the metal designs.
Metal Designs, I actually was on that one. I talked to a very nice lady named Renee at United
Fabrications. yeah,
Fabrications.
About the HOP inspector. I think that's what they call it.
Okay.
What that means.
Highway occupancy permit.
Okay.
Knew you would do that.
And it was very interesting because the brand new inspector, who didn't start till after that was done, questioned him about it. He said, I'll look into that because I just started. And he calls me back like 3 days later and he said, the specs here are different than where he worked last. The specs, the way they are written, they replace what was there.
I'd like,
They are not required. And then I called him back and I said, can you give me that in writing? He said, I will see if I can get that for you, but that's the way their specs are written.
No, it isn't. No,
I'd
they
like,
aren't.
I'd like to consider to have Ron write them a letter that they're violating the ADA.
Yeah.
There's no question that needs the lumpy stuff on it.
Right. If you take it out, you have to upgrade it. It's that simple.
It did not previously have one.
No, I understand that,
And
but when
he's
it,
saying it doesn't have to.
and
Is there a crosswalk there?
that's
A painted crosswalk?
across our driveway.
A painted crosswalk?
Well, is it painted? We can make it painted. There's both
Both of them have?
both are depressed, and they were built in the 80s or 70s, okay, without anything on them, but depressed. If I had replaced that in a project, I would have had to
Right,
put it
you would
back.
have had to put it back, right?
Yeah, with the lumpy stuff.
Right. Detectable warning surface, DWS.
Anything education has a lot of that.
Shane, who did that work? Was it
Gas company?
Natural Gas?
Yes.
It was a gas company. and it's a-
Peoples?
I would assume that would be.
I believe it was Peoples,
Whoever the sub was, who was doing that work now.
Yeah,
but that's also on a state highway.
correct.
Oh,
All right, anything else for the good of the order? We can go into executive session for the security items. Nothing heard. Thank you, Randy. You shut us down. Or whoever, I guess you were.
I've heard.
Since the man's not behind the curtain.